There's another trick, something that reggae do that not many people have noticed, but something that little feet were very good at as well, which is where you have a dotted rhythm against a non-dotted rhythm. And the drummer playing the hi-hat is right on the edge, so you don't know whether it's like a shuffle or not a shuffle. Sort of like this. You'll also notice that I do a lot of stuff without the backbeat or anything happening on the snare. And it means that you can use the snare for like the occasional explosion rather than something that has to keep playing that you count on. Maybe stop playing, it's not there anymore. It's amazing how you can do huge rock and roll rhythms without, without a backbeat. In fact, without doing anything on your snare drum, like messing in a bottle, I suppose. But take my word for it. Another question. Okay, there you go. The one with the loudest voice. No, say it again. No, it kept on playing. Yeah. No, the question is, does the drum box keep playing when I come in like live? And the answer is yes. Yeah, sure does. It's hard to play with the drum box, as you probably all know. Yeah. That's hard. What did you say? No time this time. That's old as well. You've got a long memory. I don't even know if I can. Yeah, that's a trick question. I know how I did that. That was an overdub. That was a snare drum going like this. While the other half of me was going like this. Yeah, I think I have some very useful words that I've learned from playing on the road. The secret to more energy is to relax. I mean, it probably says so on the first page of every one of your drumming manuals. You've probably heard it a million times, but it's so true. The more you can relax, the more power you get out of what you're doing, the more energy you have to spare. And I used to do, when we used to be a punk band, it was like that, and that's why we only played 20 minutes sets, because they had to carry us off. But as the years went by, I learned that I could really motor for just relaxing and let the sticks do the walking, you know. And all you have to do is hold on to them and occasionally like suggest things for them to do, and they do it. Another one over here. We'll do this side next, okay?
Going back into Regatta Blanc, title track, that echo is so...
Yeah, Regatta Blanc is a good example of the repeat echo on the snare. No, it's a dot dot. I'll see if I can get it to sound right. I don't know if you can hear it any better than I can, but it's kind of windy up here.
Y'all have to go, yo! That's what makes it work. Okay, over this side. There you go. Okay, I will own up. I am Clark Kent. Years ago. And it was an album that I did. I had a lot of punk songs, I suppose, or pop songs. And my colleagues, being serious musicians, refused to play them because they're like songs that I wrote as a teenager and really should have played as a teenager and then forgotten. But I never grew out of them, I suppose. So I did them myself. And also, I've always been a frustrated guitarist. And so it was a chance for me to play guitar and sing. I've never been a frustrated singer. I have no great designs there at all. But that, I suppose, was the story of Clark Kent. What happened to Clark Kent was it turns out that, of course, Clark Kent, the name, is owned by certain people who own not only the name of Clark Kent, but every spelling of it in Superman and Lois Lane and everything else. And they put an injunction on the record company and said, if you print more than 15,000, I think it was, we'll jump on you. You know, as long as we were like underground, it was okay. And so those 15,000 supposedly were the only ones that were printed. They certainly never promoted it or were worried about doing it some more after that. I beg your pardon? Is it? Must have come from me. Don't tell Warner Brothers. Go ahead, right there.
How many hours a day do you write?
I practice in my mind, which sounds really facetious, but it's absolutely true. You can really improve yourself by just thinking about what you do. When I was in school, I went to boarding school in England where I couldn't play at all, like until, you know, like occasionally I would persuade a teacher. I'm sure you've all been through this, where you persuade some teacher on campus to let you use their classroom. It lasts one time, and then they throw you out because of the noise, because of the disreputable people that the noise attracts and everything. So the answer is to practice in your mind. When you're walking down, think of all those licks. You know, and just like, think of it. It's like, I think that the buzzword in America now is to visualize. And it sounds very corny, but it's actually, once again, it does work. And I used to find when I'd come home from school after not playing for the whole term, that I'd really improved. And I couldn't believe it. All these things like would suddenly show up. I hadn't even played. And so that makes a big difference. As far as, like, I think you reach a point in your playing when your muscles know what to do. It's like riding a bicycle. You don't need to, like, do it for 5 hours a day to keep that up. It comes, you know, like you do lose it a bit. It comes back to me very quickly. The main thing I lose is stamina, which is why I can only play in like short bursts now. And on tour, you pick up stamina, so you can play like that for like all night. But the rudiments, before you've gotten to that level, the rudiments are very important on a pillow. I highly recommend playing on a pillow as opposed to any other form of pad, because all of the bounce, it really teaches you control of the stick, because you have to time lifting the stick off and pressing it back down again, which is one of the important things, the art of hitting a drum. It's a very fine art and a very important art, you know. And that, I suppose, comes down to practicing your rhythms. Down here, right?
Yeah, will the Police ever perform live or record together again?
Most likely. I very much hope so, but it takes 3 to tango. Right here.
What do you think of Sting's new band?
I think they're very good. Next question. No, I mean that. They are a very good band.
Hey Stewart, I know you had a little trouble hitting your octobans here, but do you look right in the center of the drum when you're going for it?
Yeah. I don't know quite why I'm having a hard time. Maybe a little high for something. I used to be able to play any kind of drum set. One thing a drummer always has to be able to do is play any drum set. Most times your own drums are in your garage and you get those band playing and can I sit in? Half the time you're playing other people's drums.
Yeah, I think the first thing I noticed about you was how tilted your pom-poms are.
Yeah, well I've gotten spoiled. I mean, I've had like 8 years with the same crew and everything like that, so my drums are absolutely, I've gotten very spoiled in that respect. I'm not proud of this, but it's sad.